All right, we thank you to join us on top this very clock for news on the hour for Plus TV Africa. This is the 3 MC1 Summer Givona. My name, I promise, Nero. They say South African government on Monday don't do formal beg, give Niger people and the Niger government for the xenophobic beg for foreign nationals when we say Niger join for their country. Oga President Cyril Ramaphosa, a special envoy to Niger, Jeff Radebe, he threw away their beggings as he meets with Oga President Muhammadu Buhari for the presidential villa Abuja on Monday. As they hot, they say young with the State House, a talk person after the closed-door meeting with the Niger leader Radebe. He said President Ramaphosa had already directed the law enforcement agencies to grab all those where they say they put body for the brigade. Radebe, where we say the South African Minister of Energy, he said over 50 suspects ended up grab so far in connection with the xenophobic palaver when we say it happened for some part of South Africa. They say the Nigerian Diaspora Commission don't tell the federal government say they're not going to abandon Nigerian people when we say they just show from South Africa. The chairperson of the commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, he said the federal government they do every to make sure say those who say they lost properties for the get compensation for the South African government. She said the federal government already put plans for place to make sure say the returnees will continue their business them for Nigeria.
Expect the state governors to take responsibility for their citizens that have returned. Now I'm going to stress one thing. Those who returned are not criminals. In fact, they are very hard-working Nigerians, very hard-working, and they've lost everything they ever worked for in South Africa. So their only crime is being black and being Nigerian. So let's stress that none of them they are very hard-working Nigerians. I mean, we had fathers separated from their children. We had a mother. There's a widow with 4 children who just had to come back home. And for that widow with 4 children, I can't tell you, but there are already offers for scholarship for her children. Now, when they returned, everybody got a SIM card and airtime that will last about 2 months, and some money for transportation. And Bank of Industry, as I speak with you now, has their contact, so they'll be calling them to come for the Bank of Industry soft loans, so that those are the immediate plans for them. Then as they settle in, we're going to profile them and do a needs assessment. Because somebody might want to trade and you want to say go and do hairdressing. So it's better to do a needs assessment. We'll be appealing to the various state governors to ensure proper reintegration and welcome for these returnees from South Africa. As the next batch comes in, we'll also profile them and do the same thing. And Bank of Industry is waiting for all of them to come and take up the assistance the bank is offering.
Let's say Oga President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday, he replaced the economic management team, EMT, when we say the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo will be Oga with one economic advisory council, EAC. The new EAC, when we say that they report directly to President, go get Oga when we say be economist, Professor Doyin Salami. Buhari's special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, he said the EAC, Osama Betayans, give the president an economic policy matter. When we say fiscal analysis, he joined an economic growth and one range of internal global economic matter joined to work with the relevant cabinet members and head of monetary fiscal agencies. He said the council, when we say they expect to Sama assist give the president for the development of the critical policies, could do on top monthly sessions. Other members of the council are Dr. Mohammed Sagagi, Vice Chairman, Professor Ode Ojowu member, Dr. Shehu Yahaya member, Dr. Iyabo Macha member, Professor Shukuma Soludo member, Bismarck Rewane member, and Dr. Mohammed Adaya Salisu secretary. They said the meeting of the Joint National Public Service Negotiating Council, JNPSNC, and the federal government don't do deadlock again on Monday, as they not agree to relate and do adjustment for the implementation of the new minimum wage. They say the General Secretary of the trade union side, Alade Lawa, he said the organized labor will talk on the next line of action for the matter of the minimum wage. The union claims say they don't notice say the federal government officials not serious about them at all, and that they suspect the foul play or their hidden agenda somewhere. Lawa said the union already report the development to their principals when say join the labor union and say Niger could do well to brief on top the next line of action very shortly. The chairman of the Labour team, Simon Anchava, he say Labour negotiating team does still talk say they go still write to the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress, TUC, for the advice to consider industrial action. They say the Rivers chapter of All Progressive Congress, APC, say they don't suspend the planned ward local government and state congresses for the state because of development of the judiciary. Isaac Ogbobula, the state critical committee chairman of the party, he talked this one as they yarn with talk people for the party secretariat inside Port Harcourt on Monday. The acting chairman tell the party faithful say all other party no go stop for the state. Ms. Maria Espinosa, the president of the 73rd UN General Assembly, on Monday hand over to Niger Muhammad Bande when we say he will lead the 74th session of the Assembly for the next 1 year. The group happened inside General Assembly Hall of the UN headquarters inside New York as they mark the end of the 73rd session. The 74th session will start formally on Tuesday with the inauguration of Muhammad Bande, when we say he be the permanent representative of Niger to the UN. For the short address, Guterres hailed Espinosa for her strong leadership. He says she is a champion for multilateralism, when we say make the UN relevant to all. They say Lagos when say be the commercial nerve center of Niger Pride. It all pride itself with so many positive sides from fine things and fine structures, but dirty no allow people breathe for the place. And they no green manage or do something about the major part. Plus Civil Africa team waka go touch like the matter and I waited to see 90 days.
Improper refuse dumping has become a common sight. Elegant edifices, beautiful streets marred with the ugly sides of refuse. What is the right way to go? Well, if you ask me, dispose them off properly, I would say. We shall call him Abdullahi. He is a waste collector. People like him help to collect our refuse and make our environment cleaner. But just where does it end? This is the final destination. On the one part, our immediate environment is clean. On the other hand, it poses a different form of hazards. This explains why the government-assigned waste collectors would refer to people like Abdullahi as causing black spots, meaning they actually dispose refuse in places not allocated or specified for the purpose. Apparently, Abdullahi's way may not be the answer. What has government done? Provisions have been made for the most part for waste collection, at least from what we see around. Improper refuse dumping has been a menace in our society, but as you can see from the view here, it is already so littered around me, my surroundings. Look at the gutters. It is all littered. Has this become a situation that is normal? Have we become so used to dumping refuse, so much so that we do not care anymore?
So now, some big men, they are from far away, they are throwing the dustbin here. It's not only people are living here, many people are putting dustbin here. So I don't know why they are not more working here again. So please, I'm begging you people, should beg them to come and continue their work.
This refuse here is very causing a lot of problem. At least the waste bin there, I don't know why they take this waste bin out of there. Anybody want to come and throw that, they will put it there. It's not good. It's for our heads. Look at where they are selling food. At least we will be hailing different type of disease everywhere. It's not good, and this will cause sickness in our body. Look at children all around everywhere. Understand? So we want the government to do something about it.
See for all the street, everywhere mess up, everywhere they smell. See the waste bin and see dirty, they no fit come pack am. Government no dey help. It's not good now.
What we cannot say is, why is it difficult, for instance, for someone to do this? I use this and do this. It is simple. Why are we not caring for our environment? Why are we not caring for where we live? And even by extension, our health. Is it a problem of society? I do not have the answer. Amaka Okoye, Plus TV, Africa.
Let's say the Christian Aid Nigeria, don't put their new 7-year strategy for the 2019 to 2025 matter. The humanitarian aid joint body say their new strategy now to meet humanitarian needs of Nigerian people across the country, and they're not going to look tribe, ethnicity, and religion. The country director of the Christian Aid, Charles Use, he said the joint body say they see themselves as Nigeria first aid responder for the Northeast. They look for their resources to support the federal government to meet the need of millions of Nigerian people when say they don't get where to stay and waiting to eat on top when they got displaced because of Gbege around the country.
The Nigeria of our dream, the Nigeria we have envisioned in 7 years, it's impossible for only Christian Aid to achieve it. And that's why today we are going public with it. And by going public, we mean that we are letting it out in the open to say this is our intention. This is what we want to do. We've come a long way in Nigeria, operating since 2003. We started out with a vision called Transforming Hope into Action. That vision led us into another vision which we call Partnership for Change. Today, we are launching a new strategy, building up on the 2 different strategies we've actually lived in Nigeria, building on those 2 different strategies over the last few years. Today, we're launching a strategy called Standing Together, and this means a lot.
When we stand together, we walk together, we live together, and we die together. We need to die together in Nigeria to make Nigeria a better place. And when we walk together and stand together, we stand together to fight injustice. We stand together to promote the dignity of human person. We stand together to promote equity. We stand together to love together.
If you think that poverty cannot be eradicated, all your programming, your thoughts and behavior will be towards that line. But if you believe that poverty can be eradicated, then you will do everything that is necessary to eradicate poverty. We know that we are living at a time where we have the greatest amount of resources ever known in world history. The resources in the world today, if used judiciously, can eradicate poverty. But we have poverty because the wealth is concentrated in the hands of a few people.
The population of Nigeria is almost 200 million. 90 million, over 90 million are living in extreme poverty. 46% of all Nigerians are living in extreme poverty. Over 46% in a country that, for those of us like me who come from Zambia, we've always considered Nigeria to be the giant economy of Africa. Right? We know the wealth that exists in this country. And yet I want to ask you the question, where is your outrage? Where is your outrage when your brothers and sisters are living in abject poverty? Where is your outrage when young girls are being given in early marriage when they're supposed to be at school, enjoying their lives as young people growing up? Where is your outrage when there's female genital mutilation? Where is your outrage when women are being battered in their homes? Where is your outrage when there are no women at the decision-making space? Where is your outrage when you look at your brothers and sisters in Maiduguri and they are suffering without shelter, without access to land, without resources?
All right, and our time to take one sharp break. When we show back, we'll sum another story there. We'll not go anywhere. Let's say people when say they key or top military men, and when say they don't key for one rival group fight for the Central African Republic for the weekend, don't go up to 38. According to one internal United Nations report, one AFPC on Monday, they say the UN mission for Central Africa, MINUSCA, they say people when say they die now 23. The two armed group don't sign one peace deal for February. Gbege between militaries for recent months don't raise concerns about whether the peace accord now to end plenty years of gbege for the car when we say he go hold. The country president Faustin Archange Touadera this month, he tell AFP say the agreement they very strong. But MINUSCA on Saturday say fight don't show for Birao, one city close to the Sudanese border. Let's say the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court of Appeal on Monday against the shock acquittal of before Ivory Coast leader Laurent Gbagbo for post-electoral gbege when say kill around 3,000 people. Gbagbo when be the first head of state to stand trial for the Hague, and the deputy Charles Blegood now they clear from crimes against humanity for January, and they could release them the other month. Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda office say appeal go demonstrate say the trial chamber he commit legal and procedural errors when say lead to the acquittal of Gbagbo and Blegood for all the counts. Bensouda say he don't clear their two and they not apply any better standard of proof. The next one, now our foreign news.
My name is Chidebere Chukwu. I'm here for my mom, receiving an award for my mom. She won Salary for Life, 100,000 naira every month for 20 years. She's been a housewife, taking care of us. Can I say that we have 10 children, and she's been the one that's taking care of us from the first to the last. And now that she needs to rest, I think this is just beautiful to just come at this time. Beyond words, and I'm just happy that she has 100,000 to herself every month. Even though I have to send some little stuff, and none of us have to send something, but sure banker, she knows that 100K is in her account cool enough. Thank you, Access Bank. And to everybody, please save money. Because save money, save in Diamond Extra account so that you can have a chance to win Salary for Life.
Country people, we dey thank una one that joined us on top News on the Hour for Plus TV Africa.
This na number 63 Massey Street for Itafaji, where building just collapsed by 10 a.m. this morning.
They say the Oga of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, don't tell federal government say if they provoke him, it go cause wahala for inside the country.
Because if the British citizen no be say you go enter Nigeria, come cause kasala, run go Britain, go stay in peace.
Them say na the diesel truck catch fire as they try offload the diesel way they inside. Come out, fire department come try quench the fire.
For the first time for Nigeria, every will enjoy television news for Ogbonge Pidgin English.
For more tori, make una kukuma follow us at Plus TV Africa on top Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Make una subscribe to our YouTube page and for Star Times on channel 308. They say Israelis that they vote in their country's second general election for the 5 months. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the snap election after a failed to form a governing coalition with one majority after April vote. The final opinion poll, he put the right-wing Likud party neck and neck with their main challenger. The centrist blue and white party, led by before military chief Benny Gantz, and they say that they do one small party them when say they fit get big things on top say the final outcome go there. They expect negotiation for the formation of one new coalition to start as voting go end 22:00-19:00 GMT, and they go publish the exit polls. They say Prime Minister Boris Johnson government go need to tell Britain top court better this week, say in decision to suspend Parliament until shortly before the date for Brexit is not day illegal, as Scottish judges take conclude last week. Johnson talked this one on August 28, say he don't take Queen Elizabeth to suspend Parliament for 5 weeks from last week until October.
14 say the shutdown is necessary to allow them to introduce one new legislative agenda. For the judgment, Scotland highest court ruled last Wednesday say the suspension is unlawful and a bad attempt to stop the parliament. But 1 week earlier, the High Court of England and Wales rejected the same case. It said the matter is political and not be for judicial interference there. Both cases don't they go before the Supreme Court, the highest judicial body for the United Kingdom, and the 11 judges when say they will give one final ruling on whether Johnson's advice to the Queen is illegal. The next one, now our business news. Let's say for the close of the first trading day of the week, stock prices, they one kind as the ASI dropped by 1.14%, following drop for activities for the industrial sector.
The All-Share Index dropped by 0.74 basis points to close at 27,574.32. Total deals recorded at the end of the trading day was 4,795, with an equity capitalization of 13.423 trillion naira. Okomu Oil led the list of top gainers, closing at a share price value of 52 naira 90 kobo per share, while Guarantee closed at a share price value of 28 naira 50 kobo per share. However, Airtel Africa declined to a share price value of 315 naira. NSE Banking was up 1.57%, NSE Consumer Goods was up 0.22%. However, NSE Industrial dropped by 1.14%. And on the Naira valuation, according to the Lagos Parallel Market, the Naira traded to the dollar at 357 Naira buying price and sold at 360 Naira to a dollar, while it traded at 445 Naira to a pound buying and selling at 448 Naira to a pound. It also traded at 390 Naira buying price to a euro and sold at 395 Naira to a euro.
Still ahead for Plus TV African News, now our roundup for entertainment and sports with the show back.
Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and, of course, analyze them for you.
You can have both parents and still end up as a useless child. I see them every day.
Most times I worry more about where I'm coming from and where I am now, and that determines my next step.
Why are you sounding like
Alibaba
now?
And Plus TV Africa, we're feeling good. No time to dull, everybody feeling alright.
Still make music and people are still buying. Sometimes I look myself minimal IU.
Akpala music is for mature minded people. I got DMs sometimes from Malawi like
sleeping early.
That money we shoot every person that we know we can shoot. We don't let people die there.
You could have killed us for a long period of time.
Is that time why I carry gonorrhea? I first go hospital first, but it no go. Now I come make that mama.
He just pulled it, he pointed and shot.
What is the soul of a man?
They suffer too much. They suffer too much.
Issues around the Nigerian police, we have to tackle it holistically.
Let's say one negotiating magistrate court for Lagos don't give popular Nigerian musician Johnston Hunger Oyedamola, when said they still called Dami Crane, bail for the sum of 50,000 naira with one shorty for like sum. The magistrate AFO Botoku is still carrying matter go till October 11 for the trial. In lawyer Adebayo Oniyelu, as they apply for him bail, he say they know the defendant well. As musician when say they never convict of any crime, and this is not the first time when say that the summer accused give him. The musician be don't plead not guilty to the 3-count charge when NBC police summer against them before. They say Kevin Hart before said state partner Montia Sabag, he don't sue him for 60 million. Say he claims he secretly record their sexual encounter according to the report. Montia Sabag say an encounter with Kevin Hart for one Las Vegas hotel room. It did planned by Kevin Hart and his friend JT Jackson, when say they arrest later for say they take something from him. She say Kevin mind for that time now make people know him, especially with one upcoming comedy tour. And that's now why he and JT hide the camera. Then later charged Jackson with 2 counts of extortion when say relate to alleged effort to get money out of Hart to keep the tape under wrap. Jackson denies say he not take anything from the comedian. Kevin Hart don't they say in hand not did the claim and say he still be victim. Alright, that one now for entertainment, the next one now for sport. Let's say Lionel Messi did the Barcelona squad for Tuesday Champions League opener with Borussia Dortmund after he recovered from one calf injury. The Barca captain played last for July for the Copa America for Argentina, and he don't miss Barca opening 4 games. They say the medical team say Messi don't defeat, and if he go back to play after Monday training section. Barca don't win only 2 of 4 La Liga games without him. And Ansu Fati, 16, is still joined for the squad after 2 goals and 1 assist for 116 minutes of La Liga football. All right, now wait till we get to top this very o'clock for now for news on the hour for Plus TV Africa. For plenty information and better information, follow us at Plus TV Africa for Facebook, for Twitter, and for Instagram. And it could make sense even to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We go see the salmon and plenty other to read them as time they go. My name, na Promise Nero, and I thank you that when you to join us on well done.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the result of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let anybody come and say!
The perception in itself does more harm than actual corruption that you have.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
welcome to Ladies Talking Business. As always, I remain your host, Irene Ubani. In the studio with me today is Chinwe Egwim, an economist at FBN Quest Merchant Bank, a subsidiary of FBN Holdings. Today we'll be speaking on structuring your business for growth, a very vital topic for business growth, of course. Amazing to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's talk about, structure for a little bit. What are the very important areas that businesses seldom incorporate structure into, and how can they leverage on, becoming globally competitive?
Okay, so one thing that I've noticed with SMEs that I engage with is the lack of advisory boards. And it's really important because business owners need to be accountable to people. And there's another thing which I'm always picking on, which is domain names. So you see businesses xxx@gmail.com or at yahoo.com. Those are little things that I feel business owners should look into to correct. I would say I'm going to place my sponsorship hat on. I tend to view sponsorship letters from that come to the firm, right?
Okay.
And I can tell you this, that if I see a business that has at gmail.com, it will go into, it may go into the bin, as opposed
because it has a gmail.com.
Yes. It's so little, but it's so big at the same time. You don't want to fund a hobby. Do you understand? So I think business owners need to look into that. I also, again, I'll return to the advisory board. It's good to have someone that chairs your board and other people that you are accountable to. You're discussing your business ideas, business growth, what's going on with your firm, what short-term, medium-term, long-term goals. So
being very strategic, basically.
Exactly. So so those are the two things I'm going to highlight.
All right, so we know that the National Bureau of Statistics, they usually release relevant data that's usually, of course, very important to businesses as well. But I noticed that some business owners work in isolation of this data.
Yes, so a lot of business owners work in isolation of...
Actually, a lot of them.
Yes, so many. There's so much out there that the NBS puts out. Not just the NBS, you even have the NCC, that's the National Communication Commission, and even the Debt Management Office. They put out data, yes, and the CBN, of course. So, you have data like the inflation report. And interestingly, we just received the inflation report for February, right? And the rate declined marginally for February. Now, looking at this data, headline food inflation and core inflation, for businesses that operate in the food segment,
consumer goods segment,
restaurants, let's say restaurant business, food inflation is something that they should be looking at, they should be tracking. I understand that data can be cumbersome to digest, and so
some people don't like to look at figures. They just want to hold the money.
It's scary. So I advise business owners to try and engage people like me to look at data and break it down for them to understand what's going on in segments that they operate in. So inflation, that kind of measures the rate at which prices are increasing, right? You look at that, you look at your consumers. They have competing spending priorities. If things are going up in the market, what are you doing to be innovative or more attractive to consumer to pick your product over the next
other?
Yes, so that's something I feel like business owners should look into that they don't look into right now.
So you should kind of create an inflation basket for themselves.
Exactly. So no, that's not on the production side, right? So as a business owner, you create your own basket, meaning you look at the items you would spend on a monthly basis, record that, keep that data, and accumulate at least for 1 year, and then compare the prices of those products that you would spend on frequently, compare it and see the change, the rate in change. It kind of helps you prepare yourself better with cost cutting procedures. It helps you with profit maximization. It's just like saying you have a, what do you call this, like the fortune, where you can see the future, that ball.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, but it's just like you're staying ahead of the game when you're able to accumulate this data, which, by the way, it's only you that would have as a business. Let me break it down a bit more. Let's say, again, a restaurant business. You would use rice, I believe.
Tea, tomatoes.
Yeah, exactly. Plantain, all that good stuff. Having a data sheet that has all these products that you use on a regular, the pricing, and literally monitoring it, the data is going to grow to something really big, and then you can get someone to interpret it for you over at least 1 year. 1 year is a good time frame to have.
Because based on what you're saying, I can tell that at some point the sheet is telling you that maybe in January you spent 500,000 on tomatoes, February was 600,000, March it was 300,000. Oh, okay.
So yes, that's a good example you just laid out. So if you see that trend, maybe you could do bulk purchases in January, which was the lowest figure you gave, right? And then it helps you save money. We've seen that in December, Q4, so that's October. October, November, December, prices kind of shoot up because of high demand, and that's because of the seasonal effect, Christmas festivities, right? So it's good to know these things so that you protect yourself, your business from price swings. Yeah,
and it helps your balance sheet, more defined.
Of course, because if you are on top of this and you are able to cut costs, it should have a direct impact on profit maximization.
Yes.
So yeah, so it would help a whole lot. And then there's also the GDP data, which comes out quarterly from the National Bureau of Statistics, right?
Okay.
And it's broken down into sectors. So you have agriculture, manufacturing, telecoms, you have trade, you have transport and storage.
Oil and gas.
Yeah. Because most SMEs operate in a non-oil economy, I tend not to speak on the oil and
fair
gas.
Enough.
Yes. So the thing or the importance of that data for a business would be to see the trend in growth for those sectors, because most of your consumers or most of the people that buy from you, they operate in those sectors, right? So I'm in banking and finance, right? If my sector is tanking, perhaps there might be retrenchment going on there, there might be allowances being slashed. So
your purchasing power now reduces.
So purchasing power shrinks. And it will be good for businesses to actually examine the segments or sectors that their consumers operate in. It allows them to know, because the thing is, when that happens, you are dealing with consumers that are dealing with competing spending priorities. So spending capacity has dropped, so you need to be, so what that would do for a business is to push the business owners or the employees within the business to be more strategic.
And creative too.
Yes, to be able to protect and grow the market share that they have.
And what other data released by the NBS would you recommend businesses to always, take a look at least, or find someone to help them with?
Okay, so there's the Business Confidence Index. And what that data shows, it's really how will I put this, like constraints that businesses face, how it's really impacting, or how it impacted on in that month that is being published. So let's say power challenges, access to finance, inflation, of course. All of that is put in there, and it's a survey with I think over 1,000 businesses.
Okay.
And then they come up with results which allow you to see how your, can I call them competitors or your colleagues, how they're faring for the month. Apart from the NBS, even we release
as FBN.
Yes, we have a special report that comes out every month. It's called the Purchasing Managers Index.
Okay.
And what that does, it checks the temperature of the manufacturing sector.
Okay.
And so we have partners that or a partner, that does the survey for us.
Okay.
And so when the index is above 50, it means the manufacturing sector is doing okay. When the index is below 50, there's a problem. Now, I think 2014. In 2014, when the oil price slide happened, the global oil price slide happened, we had issues with FX. The country had issues with FX. So securing FX for imported inputs was a big problem, and that fed into the PMI. We saw the figures coming in bad because of poor.
For those that don't know what PMI is the Purchasing Managers Index.
Yeah, due to poor access to FX, right? So manufacturers were struggling with gaining access to FX, and that affected the PMI. So it's also data that's good to look at, to examine. It's just, as I always say, just a way to protect yourself and just be ahead of the game. Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a quick break now. When we return, Chinwe will tell us ways in which small businesses can become more competitive. Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching Ladies Talking Business on Plus TV Africa. All right, Chinwe, how can SMEs become more competitive such that they are now competing with, the global brands out there?
I feel that SMEs are ready, or it depends on the business owner, right? As I said earlier, structure is very important, and so you need to get your structure in place. You need to get your company registered properly, check your taxes, and every legal document that you should have, right? I also feel like quality assurance is something that businesses lack in Nigeria. Most business owners are interested in just putting out the product
and making money.
And making money, as opposed to actually checking the quality of the products they're putting out there. And so to be able to compete globally, you need to be very deliberate about looking at your products and product quality assurance. Now, to be globally competitive, you really need to invest in production, right? I understand that the business environment is a bit difficult here in Nigeria.
Stifling, they say. Some people say.
Yeah, it is, but it's time to take matters into your own hands as a business owner. And funds, access to funds, that would be a big thing or a big issue for businesses to be able to take matters into their own hands. There's this recent report that came out that said that SMEs accounted for less than 30% of funds that go out from banks, commercial banks. So the large companies are the ones that access,
getting the funds.
So my thing would be to restructure the mindset or change the mindset of business owners to invest earnings, profits into funds. So like at FBN,
what kind of funds would you
so I would say mutual funds, like at FBN Quest Merchant Bank, where I work. We have a few funds. We have something called the money market. Now this, I've noticed that business owners, they would have accounts in these mutual funds, but as themselves, as opposed to for their business. A money market fund, you could go in with as low as 5,000 naira. And you let the money sit in there for a bit. The yields are that today, I think the range is between 13 to 15%, which is better than placing it somewhere that it would just give you a 2% or a 3% at the end of the year. So I would advise businesses.
That's higher than inflation rate, of course.
Of course. So I would advise businesses to think about investing profit. I'm not saying your operational costs. I'm saying like you're free. Exactly, you're free. The free cash, meaning your profit. Put it in a fund. Let your money make money for you.
Yes.
And then the spread that you're able to make, you can now invest that into your business. So you can invest that into the power segment of your business, generate power for yourself, which most of us do. And that would help with product production, and the kind of products that we would like to see. And it would expose them to the global village, and they can compete effectively.
I think I like the part where you said it shouldn't be your capital that you're putting in, but then the profit. That way your money is also working for you, of course. All right, and then sometimes we know of the US-China trade war, we know about the British exit Brexit, but then some businesses here in Nigeria would say, "Oh, how does that concern me?"
Yeah.
Well, how does it really, affect them?
I think for me, what I would say is this: it presents a good case for the Africa Free Trade Continental Area. It presents a good case for that, and so that really is a block that is trying to be created with African countries, right? As we speak, Nigeria hasn't signed on yet, and I understand why. They have to look at all that it entails and make sure that we're not receiving the shorter end of the stick, right? So if it actually falls through, it would be a good opportunity for our SMEs to expand their market share, expand their consumer base, selling a product from here to someone in Kenya or someone in Tanzania or our neighbors Ghana, with ease. So I think businesses should actually sit down, re-strategize, and find out how they can make themselves competitive in anticipation of that. Because it would be really upsetting if that happens and you find yourself frustrated that, oh, if only I had known, I would have began strategizing or restructuring my business to be able to compete with other African firms. Again, Nigeria is, I think, of course, we're the highest. Our population is the highest across Africa. So yes, exactly. So we our consumer market is large. So if that happens as well, one concern would be other African countries trying to dump their products here because the market here is large. So aside from positioning yourself to export to other countries, you also need to position yourself to remain relevant to your own local consumers. So I think it's important. So really, I wouldn't say it has a direct impact on us. That's the U.S.-China trade negotiations. I would say it's a direct impact. I would say it's an indirect impact. And it would be nice for SMEs to leverage
themselves already.
Exactly.
All right, that's good. And there was a Woman Up, conversation that took place on the 14th or 15th of March. Yes. One of the panelists mentioned that she feels SMEs are in different sectors, they are doing different things. So she doesn't think that they should all be, referred to as SMEs. What's your thoughts on this? I mean, we had a number of people really clapping and super excited. Yeah.
Okay, so I disagree with that because by definition, this definition is by the CBN. An SME is a firm that has, I think, below 300 employees and an annual turnover of less than 100 million naira. So by definition, it's not a sectoral conversation. It's not about if the SME is playing in this field or that field. If your company is not employing beyond 300 people or your annual turnover is not beyond the set amount, then it's an SME. I also don't understand why being called an SME should be seen in a bad light, because I believe that there are a lot of interventions, financial interventions for SMEs. The CBN, the Bank of Industry, I think even the new Development Bank of Nigeria, they're looking into pumping in funds for the growth of SMEs. SMEs are the engine of every economy, and they account for like 50% of our GDP. So I don't really understand why someone put that out there.
All right, Chinwe, since you are an economist, is there any other relevant data you think the audience would be very relevant for the audience?
Yes, so fiscal data, so tracking the government's spending and revenue collection. So every year, as you know, the government will put out a budget figure.
Yes.
So within that budget, you would see something for recurrent expenditure and for capital expenditure. Now, capital expenditure, capital expenses are really important because when they're able to disperse money for capital projects, you see that more projects in the construction segment especially crop up. And what that does is it kind of helps boost money circulation because you're employing more people, and then there's a trickle-down effect, And so for business owners, if you are operating with in a market, or you're operating with products that are for the mass market, that's a good thing for you. There's more spending capacity because of that capital expense that was released. There's also talk around increasing the minimum wage, which I think is currently 18,000, and they want to take it up to 28,000. Now, if that happens, that's a good thing as well, because you would see a release, or the purse would expand, or pockets would expand, which
purchasing power increases,
exactly,
of course.
Exactly, which should bode well for businesses. So all of this is really important. I know it sounds boring.
No.
No, but it's very important. And I also understand that if a business owner is not up to it in terms of data analysis or data interpretation, it's not easy. It's you have to have a passion for it, aside from studying this in school. But if you feel that way, I think it's sensible to engage someone, even if it's like on a contract base. Let's say 3 months. Come and talk to us about every 3 months. Come and talk to us about what's going on in the economy. Let's understand the data. How does it affect us? Can you look at our own, exactly? Can you look at our own data? How can we leverage on our own specialized information internally to position ourselves better, so we can operate at our best or optimal level? So yes, I think businesses have a lot to gain from data analysis.
Yeah, because for me, I think this is what differentiates a roadside business who wants to move to, for example, a Louis Vuitton that started really small and then has scaled up and has now become a global brand. That's what differentiates you from, you know, the other ones that remain there for 10, 20, 30 years and staying in one, you know, little store.
It does. An important thing about economic data is that it helps with strategy. So for businesses that say they have strategy departments or strategy segments, economic data is really important. I can't overemphasize this. It's important. It's like looking into the future.
Of course. Of course.
So when you study the trends, you kind of know how to just position yourself. And even the global market is very important. Oil price, it affects us tremendously. We are an economy that focuses on oil for our revenue, and so when you see the oil price slide or dip, like what we saw in 2014, it's a problem. It's a problem because it would affect our revenue. That's our FX revenue. When that happens, there's FX scarcity. This nation is heavily import dependent. I know we're trying to change that with economic diversification, but that hasn't happened yet. There are a lot of businesses import to sustain or to add on to what they're producing for their businesses. So studying the oil price is really important. And like,
those are things people don't really take, you know, very seriously, but they impact on us one way or the other.
And even that oil price slide, you know, something that happened, but this was for individuals, those that had money, you know, when the oil price slipped, the stock market also tanked, right? And so those that had money came in at the time. And so it takes us back to what I said about investing for your business. If you had money as a business and you went in at the time, imagine the kind of profit or the kind of money you would have made when the economy picked up in 2017, towards the end of 2017. So these are things that I feel businesses need to look into, and they'll be better than they imagine.
All right, thank you very much, Chinwe, for joining me. Thank you for staying with us on Ladies Talking Business. I remain your host, Irene Ubani. Until next time, and remember, you can always tune in for more content on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also air on Star Times Channel 308. Until next time, bye.
Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and, of course, analyze them for you.
You can have both parents and still end up as a useless child. I see them every day.
Most times I worry more about where I'm coming from and where I am now. And that determines my next step.
Why are you sounding like
Alibaba
now?
Across TV Africa, we're feeling good. No time to dull, everybody feeling alright.
I can still make music and people are still buying. Sometimes I look myself minimal IO.
Akpala music is for mature-minded people. I got DMs sometimes from Malawi, like,
Sleeping early.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's Tea Time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Welcome to The Advocate, a program that thrashes out all the topical issues of the day.
When you are in government,